everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is Manchester United versus Bournemouth, Monday night football once again. A real test, a proper test. Now don't get me wrong, we had to beat Wolves and it was a bit of a test because there was some concerns about whether we could hand Wolves their first win of the Premier League season, but we didn't. We got through it and it was a very good result. Would have been better with a clean sheet. That's what we're aiming for on Monday night football against Bournemouth. A team that do like to score a lot of goals, but are in a bit of poor form at the moment. But this game against Bournemouth is a real test. I liken this to the test that we had earlier on in the season against Brighton. Brighton have had our number before. They've made us look silly. They've beat us, and they're a team that are really tricky for us, just a good, solid Premier League side. That's what Bournemouth is. I'm going to go through their recent run of results in a minute because the results don't look too promising for them, but you can't underestimate them as a team. They've got some good players. They've got a great manager in Areola, like a really, really good manager, and they have done a job on us before. So Manchester United need to do what they did against Brighton earlier on in the season and show them who's the team that's going to be fighting for Champions League football. We're not going to be in around mid-table. We're going to be fighting for Champions League football. That's what we hope and pray for. If you ask me if I'm convinced about that now, maybe not. Like I said, I talked about this a little bit on my press conference reaction. Playing against Wolves for me is like at Christmas time when my brother asked me for a game of FIFA. I don't know how to play FIFA. I don't play it, okay? But if it's a family event, or if it's Christmas and you sat on the couch and your brother's asking you to play FIFA, oh yeah, I'll give a game. Just spam the X button. I don't know what's going on. It's easy to beat me because I'm not a very good player at FIFA. No disrespect to Wolves, but Wolves are a championship level side, let's be honest. They're one of the worst Premier League sides we've seen. It's like playing your little sister or your little brother, or, anyone can be into FIFA, girl, boy, whoever. But it's like playing an experienced FIFA player when you're playing it all year round. You're going to be able to beat them. It's not really a test. Next thing you know, your cousin, from the other side of the family, who also likes to get online, likes to play foot champs at the weekend. The fact I even know that's a thing shows how many people play it in my family. And you see a proper game of football. People watching back. I'm sat there saying, oh, come on, let's see what you've got. That's like what Bournemouth is for me. Yeah, they've been on a bit of a poor run, but they're a good player. And you know that Bournemouth are a good side, and you know that they can give Manchester United a game. I mean, they've beat us at Old Trafford before, and it's a proper test for us. We've got to get our home form back on track. Look, West Ham 1-1 was really, really poor. Seriously disappointing. Everton, them beating us 1-0, diabolical, like unforgivable in some ways. The away win at Selhurst, it wasn't the best performance, but it was a very, very good win and a very good 3 points at a really difficult place to go. Wolves, the Molineux, yeah, they're going down, like I think we all know that, but still, it's an away win. You get them points on the table. If we want to be Champions League contenders, these are the sorts of games we've got to win, and we've got to put right our past results as well. So I'm going into this game, would I take a draw? No, I want to go and win, especially if you look at Bournemouth's last fixtures. So let me actually get them up for you, because despite them being a very, very good team and having a very good manager and having a good squad, and Semenyo, we all know about Semenyo. I'd want to buy him in January if we could. I think he's a fantastic player. They've got other good players as well. Scott is a great one in the middle of the field. Alex Scott, he's really come into his own this season. They've got some other good players as well that go under the radar. Sensi, centre-back, very good centre-back, been good in FPL if you know, you know. But their last run of results, so they had, the most recent result was a draw against Chelsea, 0-0. This was at their ground. Then it was a 1-0 to Everton at their ground as well. Everton beat them 1-0. Then, as well, Sunderland Stadium of Light before that, it was a loss, 3-2 to Sunderland. Still scored 2 goals, but they still got beat. So it goes draw, loss, loss. Before that, against West Ham, it was a draw. Same result we got, actually, and they were at home. 2-2 draw. So draw, loss, loss, draw. Loss before that against Aston Villa. They beat them 4-0, battered them. And then before that, City battered them 3-1, and that was kind of the start of their downfall. They came to the Etihad and they played the centre-backs on the edge of the halfway line, and they just got cut open. I mean, I'm hoping to do that against us at Old Trafford if we still have Mbeumo, which it's current time of recording, we don't know if we will, because Amorim said in his press conference he doesn't know if he'll still have the AFCON players or which one of the AFCON players he'll still have on Monday night. He's expected to know very, very soon, but he's not 100% sure. If he's still having Mbeumo, that could be a really good tactic for us to play. However, I don't think Adoni Areola, as much as he has got his way of playing, he loves to press high. He loves to press high up the pitch, and he's got his own style. I don't think he'll allow Manchester United as much space at Old Trafford, but let's see on that one. So yeah, the Man City one kind of was the start of the downfall. From the Man City game on the 2nd of November, it's lost, draw, lost, draw. So we don't want to hand them their first win in a few games, as much as I kind of like the way that they play and I like watching Bournemouth. We've got to go out there and win that game. There is no excuses for me. There is no excuses when you look at their record and you look at the ambitions that United have for the season and Amorim has for the season. We've got to go and win. Also, if you look at the rest of the Premier League table, it is tight. So Bournemouth have seen themselves fall down to 13th spot after they started the season really well. You look at Man United, somehow, just shows what the Premier League's like this season. We are in 6th on 25 points. Chelsea are in 5th on 25 points, but they have a bigger goal difference than us, plus 10. We have plus 4. Everton are just behind us in 7th on 24 points. Crystal Palace are just above Chelsea with 26 points. So it's very, very tight in and around them Champions League spots. Now, we don't know how it's going to pan out across the weekend. You probably know by the time you're watching this. But Crystal Palace have City, Selhurst. Everton have Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. United could be in a position once again where you're going into Monday Night Football, all eyes on you, where they could, if they win this game, go into 4th place, be in Champions League spots. That would do a world of good for Amorim's confidence, the squad's confidence, United fans' confidence. And do I think currently we're playing as a team that deserves Champions League football? No, I don't. I think our performances overall are pretty poor. We've kept 1 clean sheet all season. These are things you don't expect from a Champions League team, but the league is so open this year, everyone's beating everyone, that if you offer me Champions League football, we've got to go and take it. There's only so many times the Premier League can serve you up on a plate. Here's your chance for Champions League football. And you say, actually, we'll try again further on in the season. Everton game, we could have done it. West Ham game, we could have done it. We can't keep letting these opportunities slip. Literally. Can't let them slip. We can't do it. Because the Premier League's desperate for Man United to be back competing in Champions League football. I mean, if we would have actually, dotted the I's and crossed the T's, you could have seen us even, a couple points off second or, further up the table. We don't deserve to be, but the Premier League has offered that to us this season. And each time we've gone, actually, we're not going to take that opportunity. We've got to take that opportunity. Another thing I'd like to see, I don't think it will, because, like I said, the Bournemouth game usually has a lot of goals in it. I'd like to see a clean sheet. I'd like to see a clean sheet because United have only kept 1 all season, funnily enough against Sunderland, which is crazy, and that just shows how crazy this Premier League season has been. It'd be good to see a clean sheet. With De Ligt out, with Maguire still out, I think that's going to be a really, really tough ask. It is a team game, but I do think Bournemouth will score, despite the fact I'd like to see that. But would I also like to see a 4-3 thriller at Old Trafford? Yes, I would. And that game has this sort of capability as well. So before I wrap up, I will give my score predictions. I'm going with a 3-2 Man United win. I'm going positive because you've got to be positive around the Christmas period, and I just really want to see United kick on. Will we have the AFCON players? Like I said, at time recording, we don't know. But I'm going to do my starting 11 with the players that are going to AFCON and without them, because we don't know if we're going to have them or not. So I want you to round up with this. So if we still have Ahmad, Mbeumo and Mazraoui, this is how I would line up against Bournemouth. I would have Lamens in goal. I would have a back 3 of Mazraoui on the right. I'd have Aidan Heaven central, and I'd have Luke Shaw on the left. My wing backs would be Dalot left wing back. He's actually, had a couple good games. And I would have Ahmad right wing back. My 2 midfielders would be, I really want to put Molineux in. Do you know what I'm going to do it? I'm going to do 2 midfielders of Molineux and Casemiro. I'm going to do my 2 10s as Bruno and Mbeumo. Actually, no, I'm not. Sorry, scrap that. I'm thinking it off the top of my head. I'm going to do my 2 10s as Mason Mount. He's got to play. And then Mbeumo. And then I'm going to do Bruno Fernandes false 9. That's what my team would be. And people might say, oh my gosh, you're not playing Cunha. I think Cunha will be a fantastic player for Manchester United. I think Cunha is a fantastic player. He's one of my favourite players to watch when he's on form. But at the moment, I think he needs to do a little bit more to get himself in the starting 11. And, just because you're on the bench for 1 game, honestly, people take it to heart so much. That, I think, is our current best front 3. Bruno is a false 9 and closer to goal. He's proved what he can do. I mean, in the Wolves game, he got loads of space. And that's what Bruno can do. He's fantastic. He's our best finisher. Lamens has said it, who's the goalkeeper at Manchester United. He is a creative machine. But taking them risks in the defensive third when he's asked to track runners constantly, that could really, kind of put United under pressure in a game where, Bournemouth do have a good midfield. They do press you off the ball. Mbeumo is made for a game where you've got to be press resistant. So I'm going with Mbeumo in the midfield, press resistance to kind of, warn off Bournemouth midfielders and warn off their swarm of players that are going to be hunting the ball off you. Bruno close to the goal, which is where he shines. Mount, who's just, the win percentage when he plays, 71%, when he doesn't play, and this is from the start, 25%. When he doesn't start, 25% win rate. When he does start, 71%. So he's got to play. And then Mbeumo is just, for me, one of the first names on the team sheet. So that's where I'm going if the AFCON players are there. If they're not there, it makes it very, very interesting. I'd go with Lamens in goal. I'd go with Yoro right-sided centre-back, Aidan Heaven down the middle, and then Luke Shaw left-side centre-back. Wouldn't be opposed to starting Martinez down the middle, but because he did a good job against Wolves. But like I said, I think I'd go with Aidan Heaven from the start, just because he had a good game at Wolves, and let's see him kick on. And Martinez, I don't know how match fit he is. He looks good, and I can't wait for him to, start getting them starts. But at the moment, I'm just kind of a bit on the fence with it. Your wing backs would have to be Dalot right wing back and Dorgu left wing back. My two midfielders would be Molineux and Casemiro, and then my front three would be, it'd probably be Bruno, Mount and Cunha, but you feel like you've really not got much pace there. Dorgu's really going to have to be flying down that wing. Dalot's really going to have to be flying down that wing. That's what's going to happen, but you'd have to have that front three because Cunha would have to come back into it. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you're feeling. Hopefully we still have Mbeumo, we still have Ahmad, and we have Mazraoui, because I do think all three of them are very, very important. And Mbeumo for me probably the most important. But let's see how we get on that Monday Night Football. Real opportunity for Manchester United. Like I said, 3-2 United for me. Get in your score predictions and come on United.